Professionalism in education. Professionalism is the way that one presents themselves as someone mature, trustworthy, capable, and someone who takes their profession seriously. A person who exudes professionalism is someone who displays their capability in a way that they present themselves. It's an outward display of one's inner qualifications to do their job well, and it can refer to the way that someone's dressed, the language they use, and their ability to work well under pressure. As a new teacher, professionalism will help you gain respect from students, peers, and parents, and will give you the ability to put those people at ease. By being professional, you are assuring those around you that you can be trusted to do your job as an educator well. In the vast majority of cases, the very first thing people will notice about you is your physical appearance. Professionalism in your attire is crucial because it establishes early on that you take your job very seriously. One of the first and easiest steps to keeping a professional appearance is to have good hygiene. Teachers don't have to coat themselves in makeup or spend hours on their hair each day, but they should be intentional about having a clean, well-kept appearance. Teacher clothing should also be modest and appropriate. Provocative and revealing clothing is incredibly inappropriate for a school setting and can send the wrong message to your students and their parents. Clothes should also be functional since you're going to be on your feet most of the day as a teacher. Lastly, age appropriateness should be taken into consideration. It's very easy for young teachers to be misidentified as students if they're wearing similar clothing. Make sure that the clothing you choose makes it obvious that you're the teacher, not a student. These 4 teachers are dressed completely differently, but they're all wearing professional attire. Personal style doesn't need to be completely ignored to be professional. For example, the teacher on the far left has chosen a brightly colored dress and a sweater, but is still modest and professional looking. The woman on the far right is dressed more casually and comfortably, but she does so without looking sloppy or unprofessional at all. A professional teacher also applies high standards to the way that they speak. In a sense, teaching is a form of service, and having good customer service means that you're more likely to get the results you want, whether that's having successful students, healthy relationships with parents, or a classroom that respects you. Having good manners goes a long way. It's also important to remember your job as a role model. If you want your classroom to speak respectfully, not use profanity, and use elevated academic language, you must model that for them. Remember, respect goes both ways, so the only way to command respect is to first give it freely. An important part of professionalism is how you conduct yourself. Teaching can be a stressful job, so it's important to manage your stress in a healthy way. It may be tempting to lash out on students and parents who frustrate you, or to become heated if your classroom becomes rowdy. Keeping a level head helps protect your reputation as a professional teacher. Remember, you are the adult and they are the children. You must hold yourself to a high standard of maturity when it comes to emotions. It's also important to be prudent when it comes to what you share with your students. Keeping your private life private is even more relevant in today's culture. Don't share intimate details of your personal life with your students, and be careful with what you share about your political leaning. It's also wise to keep your students away from your social media accounts or set all of your settings to private. So how does one become a professional teacher? Intentionality is key. Be mindful of your own level of professionalism, and if you're unsure how you're doing, ask for help. Seek out fellow teachers and ask them to help hold you to high standards. If you have a question on whether or not a behavior or clothing choice is professional, seek out a coworker, administrator, or even an employee guidebook at the school you're working for. By making an intentional effort to be your professional best, you can make a lasting impression on the students and families you work with, which is probably the reason you want to teach in the first place.